Do you want your 3D models to have eyes like this, but instead your model's eyes look like this?
This is not okay. This needs to stop now.
In this tutorial, we will cover topics all about the eyes. From editing the eye texture to separating the eyes white and many more. Say goodbye to those dark, soulless eyes. First, you need to download PMX Editor, which we will use to separate materials and assign new textures.
Another one.
Next, you'll need to download an image editor so we can edit the texture of the eyes. You can use programs that you are already comfortable with, like Adobe Illustrator, GIMP, or even Microsoft Paint. However, for this tutorial, I'll be using a free vector graphics editor called Inkscape, which I've been using for years.
Another one.
After that, download the MMD effect called Object Luminous, which we will use to make the model's eyes glow. You'll also need to download the Miku model and the eye textures that we will be using in this tutorial. Download links are in the description below.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
Lastly, you need to set up Ray MMD. If you don't know how to set up Ray MMD, don't worry. I have an easy step-by-step Ray MMD tutorial. The link is also in the description below. Follow all the steps in the Ray MMD tutorial, but don't load the model since we are going to load a different model later after we finish editing the eyes. Now let's get started. Some models, like this one, have their eyes whites already on separate materials, making it easy for us to change their texture. However, there are models like this one where the eyes whites are connected to other materials. As a result, when we change the eyes white texture, it also changes the texture of the eyebrows, and we don't want that. Now let's start separating the eyes whites. First, open PMX Editor. Two windows will show up. Arrange the position of the windows so we can clearly see what we are doing. Next, let's load the model that we are going to use. Go to File, then click Open. Navigate to your Models folder and select the black.pmx file. In the PMX View window, uncheck the Show Bones button to hide the bones from the screen. Then, zoom in using your mouse scroll and focus the view on the face of the model. Now, let's search for the eyes white material. In the upper right side of the PMX View window, click on the M, or Masking button. A new window will appear showing the different materials of your model. As you can see, when I uncheck 0, the model's face disappears. Find the eyes white material by unchecking each checkbox until you locate the materials for the eyes white, which in this model is number 2. Now that we know the location of the eyes white, let's separate it from the eyebrows. To select only the eyes white, go to Edit, then Plugin, then User. In the UV Editor Exporter plugin, select UV Editor 2. Please wait a moment while the UV editor is loading. In the UV editor, click on the Materials drop-down and select number 2. This will display the materials for the eyebrow and eyes white. Click and hold the left mouse button, then drag to select only the eyes white vertices in the lower left corner of the material. Afterward, click Show Selected Vertices. As you can see in the PMX View window, only the eyes white should now be selected. We can now close the UV editor. In the PMX View window, select Edit, then Vertex, and click Show Face. Finally, click on Edit again, then select Face and click Truncate. Click Yes to confirm. When you go to the masking window, you can see at the bottom of the list that there is a new material. This is now the texture for the eyes white, so we can change its texture separately without affecting the other parts later in MMD.
Separating the left and right eye.
Sometimes we want to have a different material for each eye's iris. In this section, we will split the eye's materials into 2 parts. Continuing from where we left off, let's find the eye's texture. In the masking window, if you uncheck number 3, the model's eyes disappear, so this is the texture we need to edit. First, uncheck number 3, then click the R button to reverse the selection. Now, you can only see the eyes material, making it easier to select. Next, in the PMX view window, click and hold the left mouse button, then drag it to select only the vertices of the right eye. We don't need to use the UV Editor plugin this time because it is easier to select the vertices for this material. Now go to the masking window, right-click the eyes material and select Split. Click Yes to confirm. As you can see, there is a new texture below number 3. This is the material for the right eye since we split the eyes material. We now have separate materials for the right and left eyes. To confirm, uncheck and recheck number 3 and 4. Click the A button to reveal the model's other materials. When you load a model in MMD, you'll notice that sometimes all its bones are named null, and materials are named subset. This is because our MMD is in English, and there is no English translation for those parts. Today, we will give English names to our eye materials so we can easily identify them in MMD. Go to your PMX editor window and click on the Material tab. On the left side, select number 3, which is the material for the left eye. On the right side, you can see an input box named Matte Name, where you will put the name of the material. The material is currently written in Japanese. To add an English translation, click on the EN button. Then, you'll see the Matte Name input box is empty, indicating that there is no English translation yet. Enter the name of the material in the input box. For this one, input left eye. Let's do the same for the right eye highlights and the eyes white so we can easily find these materials later when we open MMD. To save all the changes that we made right from the start, click File, then Save. Save it in the same folder as the original model that we used, and name it Black V2, or any name you prefer.
For changing the texture.
Now, let's change the texture of the eyes. Go to your Models folder and double-click on the Text folder. This is where all the textures of your model are located. Right-click on eye.png and open it with Inkscape, a vector graphics editor, or any image editing program you are already comfortable using. Import the new eye texture by clicking File, then Import. Navigate to the folder where you downloaded the eye textures and click Open. Now we need to replace the current eye texture with the new one that we just imported. Move the image by pointing the mouse cursor to it, then click and hold the left click button of your mouse. Change the size of the image by clicking and holding the image handles that surround the image. Do this until the new eye texture is perfectly positioned on top of the old one. Once the new eye texture is perfectly positioned, click Ctrl+A on your keyboard to select everything, then go to File and click Export. You'll see the export settings pop up. Make sure that the Selection tab is selected. In the Width and Height section, enter 512, since that is the size of the original image assigned to the model. If you are not sure, you can always go to the Text folder of the model and hover over the image to see its dimensions. Now, to export the new image, click on the tiny folder button at the bottom, navigate to the model's text folder, and save it as I3. Repeat the same step to make another one using a different eye color for the other eye and name it I4. Once you're done, you can close Inkscape, and we'll go to the PMX editor to use the new eye texture that we made. To change the eye's texture, go to the Material tab of the PMX editor and select the eye material you want to change. Let's start by selecting the left eye, which is number 3. In the bottom section, you can see an input named Text, short for texture. As you can see, the texture assigned to this material is eye.png. Change its name to i3.png, which is the first texture that we made. If you click somewhere else on the screen, the model's eye will automatically update to the new texture that we assigned. In case it doesn't automatically update, you can always click Edit, then Update in the PMX view window. Next, select the right eye, which is number 4, and replace the existing texture with i4.png. Don't forget to save after you're done with the changes. We have now finished changing the eye textures. Great job! Now let's proceed with setting up the model inside MMD.
5. Setting up the model.
Before we proceed with making the eyes glow, let's set up the model and camera first. Open your MMD with Ray MMD already set up as instructed in the requirements. Load the model by going to Model Manipulation. Click Load, navigate to your Models folder, and select blackv2.pmx, which is the model containing all the edits that we made. Next, click to Camera and zoom into the face of the model so we can see clearly what we are doing. Be sure to register the camera position. Now let's configure the model in MME. Click on MME located in the upper right corner, then select Effect Mapping. A pop-up will appear. On the Main tab, double-click the model. Navigate to your Ray MMD folder, click the Main folder, and select Main.fx. Don't panic when the texture of the model darkens. We will fix it later. For now, let's focus on the eyes. Next, click on the Material Map tab, right-click the model, and select Subset Extract. Remember when we put English translations for each of the eye materials? You can now see them here in MMD, making it easier to select the materials. Uncheck Subset 17 to remove the hair shadow blocking our view. Click Apply, then OK. After that, go to Model Manipulation again and select the model. In the facial manipulation, lessen the opening of the eyes by setting the value of the eyes to 0.2. Click Register. Lastly, let's position the highlight of the eyes for this model by changing the value of null 227 to 0.2 and null 228 to 1. Be sure to click Register for each change. Click to Camera to see how it looks. Now that we've finished setting up the model and camera, let's do the exciting part, which is making those eyes glow and lively.
6. Making the eyes glow.
Let's start by making the highlights of the eyes glow. Click on MME, select Effect Mapping, and in the Material Map tab, double-click the material of the highlight. Go to the Emissive folder, and then on the Fixed Color X1 folder, select Material Albedo X1.fx. Next, let's make the left and the right eye's irises glow. Load Object Luminous by going to Accessory Manipulation, click Load, navigate to your Effects folder, then on the Object Luminous folder, select ObjectLuminous.fx. In MME, find the tab called OL Emitter. Select the left and right eye. Right-click, then click Remove Effect. The left and right eyes are now glowing, but they are too bright, almost like they're about to explode. To fix this, go to the Accessory Manipulation and set SI to 0.1, which is the size of the coverage of the glow, and TR to 0.07, which determines the brightness. Click Register. Lastly, let's make the eyes white brighter. Go to the Material Map tab again in MME, double-click the eyes white, navigate to the Materials folder, then in the Editor folder, then in the Glass folder, select Material Glass 1.fx. Click Apply, then OK to save the changes. Next, go to Model Manipulation, click Load, go to your Ray MMD folder, then in the Materials folder, double-click on the Editor folder, then in the Glass folder, select Material Glass 1.pmx. Control the brightness of the eyes white by going to Facial Manipulation and set Emissive R, G, and B to 0.8. Click Register for each change. Click to Camera to see how it looks. Your model now has glowing, beautiful eyes. But wait, the skin of the model is too dark. It doesn't complement the eyes. Let me teach you my technique to edit the skin in Ray MMD.
7. Customizing materials.
In this bonus section, I'll teach you my secret technique for handling any model with dark skin tones. Click on MME, select Effect Mapping, and in the Material Map tab, choose Subset 0 and 6, which represent the face and body material. Right-click and select Set Effect. Go to your Ray MMD's Materials folder, then to the Skin folder and select any skin material that you like. As you can see, no matter which material you choose for this model, it makes the skin even darker. In this situation, we need to use a customizable material and manually adjust the values to achieve our desired texture. To do that, select subset 0 and 6 again. Right-click, then select Set Effect. Go to your material folder again, then to the editor folder, double-click the Skin Without Map folder, and select Material Skin 1.fx. Click Apply to save the changes. The skin looks pale and greenish. This is normal since we haven't adjusted any values yet, so don't worry. Now let's load the controller for the material that we assigned to the face and body so we can make adjustments. Go to Model Manipulation. Click Load. Navigate to your Ray MMD folder. Then in the Materials folder, double-click on the Editor folder, then on the Skin Without Map folder. Select Material Skin 1.pmx. To make the skin tone of the model fair, go to the Facial Manipulation and set Emissive R to 0.4, Emissive G to 0.2, and Emissive B to 0.1. Click Register for each change. Set the smoothness of the skin to 0.2 and click on Register. Lastly, select Melanin. I usually leave it as is, but if you want the skin to be darker, set the value higher as shown. Click to Camera to see how it looks. Looking good, isn't it? By learning this technique, you're now able to freely adjust the skin texture of whatever model you are using. Did you enjoy this MMD eye tutorial? Do you have your own MMD technique? Share it in the comments section, and let's help each other out. As always, thanks for watching my videos. See you in the next tutorial. Bye!